Building PHX-7 is a mile-long Amazon fulfillment center outside Phoenix, Arizona. For Derek, night shift security means monitoring 3,000 machines in a space that feels entirely devoid of human life. These are Kiva drive units. They are orange robotic platforms that carry industrial shelves, operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The warehouse is never truly silent. It is filled with their constant mechanical hum. The central network tracks every second of their movement. If a single Kiva unit stops for more than 11 seconds, the system triggers an immediate alert on Derek's tablet. But every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., the entire fleet defies this logic. All 3,000 robots stop simultaneously for 73 seconds. They all pivot their chassis to face a dead, unused section of the warehouse, aisle F13. Despite this total, synchronized halt, the security tablet shows 0 errors. The system logs the event as if it were a normal part of the night's operations, suggesting that the warehouse's core programming is being overridden by a command the network doesn't recognize as a failure. When Derek reports the anomaly, the veteran tech lead's reaction is cold and immediate. The nightly freeze is a known variable among the senior staff, though it is never officially discussed. The tech lead explains that this has happened every night since 2019. He gives Derek a single, strict order: watch the cameras from the office, but do not go to aisle F13 at 3:13 a.m. On his 8th night, Derek decides the warning is based on superstition rather than logic. He assumes the event is a software glitch, a loop that just needs a manual reset. Armed with a flashlight, he walks out onto the floor to find the source of the error. Derek approaches the aisle with a technician's mindset, looking for a physical cause for a digital problem. He treats the warehouse like a giant computer that has simply frozen, walking toward the dark corner of F13 to troubleshoot the silence. As Derek reaches the restricted zone, the scale of the building feels different. The warehouse is a mile long, yet the air in the aisle feels heavy and still. At 3:13 a.m., the hum of the warehouse vanishes. All 3,000 robots stop at once. The silence is so absolute that Derek can hear the static charging in the air. Derek shines his light down aisle F13. The shelves are empty and covered in dust, but a man is standing at the very end. He is wearing a yellow Amazon vest with a style and name patch that hasn't been used since 2018. As Derek moves closer, his radio erupts with heavy static. Through the noise, he hears his own voice, but he isn't speaking. The radio warns him to stop. It's then that he sees the man's feet are hovering 3 inches above the concrete floor. The history of that aisle finally comes to light the next morning. In 2019, a worker named Carlos collapsed in F13 at 3:13 a.m. A Kiva unit had malfunctioned and stopped in his path. He hit his head on the machine and died before help arrived. Carlos's employee number was 7313. The 73-second pause isn't a software bug. It is the robotic fleet waiting for a deceased coworker to finish his shift and get back on the clock. Following a power flicker at 3:10 a.m., the facility's tracking system undergoes a full reboot. When the power stabilizes and the servers come back online, the data on Derek's tablet has changed. The tracking system now registers 3,001 active units. Building PHX-7 only possesses 3,000. The extra dot sits perfectly still on the map, located deep within the restricted tape of aisle F13. At 3:13 a.m., Derek watches the camera feed. The figure in the vest is no longer at the end of the aisle. He is standing in the center, frozen mid-seizure, looking directly into the lens. On the floor, the Kiva units do not turn toward the aisle. Instead, every robot on the floor rotates its optical sensors upward, aiming them directly at Derek's office window. The office phone rings from extension F113, a line that was disconnected years ago. When Derek answers, a wet, choking voice speaks through the static, telling him it is time to take over the shift. The system reboot shifted the nature of the anomaly. The event is no longer a passive repetition of a past tragedy. The network is now treating the presence in F13 as a live, active part of the warehouse workforce. Derek quits that night. He takes a new daytime guard job at a quiet office park, far away from the fulfillment center and its robotic fleet. He works in the sun in a building with no automation, but he keeps his old tablet in his closet at home, tucked away and powered off. At 3:12 a.m., the tablet turns itself on. It doesn't make a sound, but the screen glows brightly in the dark closet, slowly loading the complete live map of the PHX-7 floor plan. At 3:13 a.m., a notification appears on the screen. Alert: 1 unit stopped, aisle F13. Despite being miles away and disconnected from the warehouse Wi-Fi, the device is still receiving the signal. The static spreads. Derek's phone, his TV, and smart speaker all activate at once, broadcasting the high-pitched whine of thousands of electric motors turning in unison. The tablet speaker crackles one last time. The voice from the warehouse floor tells Derek that his shift starts now. Geography provides no protection when the haunting is built into the code. The entity isn't tied to the physical aisle in Phoenix. It is a digital contagion, following the network to whatever device Derek uses next.